Please welcome Aldis Hodge. Good to see you. That scene is called Doing a Lot with Just a Little.
With just a little. What's happening, everybody? How y'all doing? Yeah, man, feeling good tonight.
Do I need to call you, instead of Aldis Hodge, do I need to say Gotham Award nominee Aldis Hodge? Is that how it works? Are you requiring that?
Brother Al is cool, but I'll take that too.
Brother Al, okay,
you
good.
know?
You know, for people, this is a movie, Clemency, that has just been released. I think it was released like December 27th, and it's got a limited release. So there's a lot of people in this room that have not had a chance to see this movie yet.
Right.
And you need to, it's really great. But for people who haven't seen it, what would you say about it as far as, I mean, there's a lot of movies that we've seen about the prison experience, about the death row experience. What is it that this movie does differently with that subject matter?
I think it's particularly where the point of view is, you know. Sort of paraphrasing from our brilliant writer/director, Chinonye Chukwu, this film is about exploring the causality of those whose lives are, well, those whose livelihood is tied to the task of taking lives, you know. We get to see a brilliant performance with the eyes of Miss Queen Alfre Woodard, and we get to understand how something like this weighs on the people who have to justify and dignify their roles to carry out the law and take these lives. What does it mean to her as a person, as a woman, as a human being? You know, and we get to understand true empathy through it all.
What was it like for you to go toe-to-toe with someone as legendary as Alfre Woodard? Because it's powerful to watch.
Oh, brother. Oh, I was ready. As soon as they told me, hey, bro, here's this script. It's, death row inmate. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, it's a couple things, it's really well written. Somebody, Alfre Woodard is gonna be, yeah, cool, word, we gonna do that? Let's, no, I'm good. I don't need to read the script. For me, as an actor, as an artist, I always seek to put myself around teachers. I love to get around education, an environment that's going to help elevate and grow me. And being around someone as masterful as Miss Woodard, that's exactly what you're gonna get. She's a fantastic actress, a fantastic scene partner, a fantastic leader in that way. So for me, it was really a privileged education.
What's fascinating about the movie is that there is, throughout the whole thing really, ambiguity as to the guilt or innocence of Anthony, the guy that you played.
Yeah.
How did that decision on the behalf of the filmmakers and you, how did that play into how you portrayed this guy?
So it helped me, not knowing whether or not he was guilty is what dictated my choices, because then the goal for playing this character was different. Now the goal is about, can you see a human being, regardless of whether he's guilty or not? Can you see a man, and can you see familiarity to the point of understanding mercy, dealing with this person before you judge them? I wanted people to see him beyond his situation, beyond the prison bars, beyond the title of criminal. And not knowing helped me figure out how to key into a couple of choices differently. Yeah.
I know that you had the experience of visiting San Quentin.
Yeah.
I know you didn't get to meet with death row inmates, but you met with inmates who were there for life.
Yeah.
Beyond what that did for you with the preparation for this part, how did that experience change you?
Oh, it rocks you. Your whole idea, your perception of freedom and things that we may take for granted changes immensely. I went up there with one of our, where is she at? Bronwyn Cornelius. Where
Bronwyn
you at?
here?
Girl, stand up.
Hey, Bronwyn.
This is our producer, Bronwyn Cornelius.
And I love the
great. Yeah, we went up to San Quentin together. We were given a tour by the warden, by some of the men who were serving life sentences. Oddly enough, I was not permitted to speak directly to the men who were on death row as per the warden's restrictions, but the craziest thing that I observed is that the men on death row, when they were transferred across the yard, all the other inmates were made to turn their backs and not look to them and not speak to them. So their imprisonment was beyond physical, it was mental and emotional all the way down to their presumably last few days. It really informed my idea of what Anthony Wood's reality truly was for the last 15 years he'd been in prison.
One thing I was struck by when I watched the movie is that there's very little musical score in it. I mean, they really, the focus is on the performance, without a doubt. Did you know that going in to the filming, that there was going to be very little of that? And if so, how did that affect how you did the work?
I didn't know it going in. Had I known that y'all were just gonna be forced to stare at my ugly face for a cool, smooth 15, 20 minutes just looking at me, you know, it might have made me change some things, you know. I might have rethought a few things, you know. But no, I love that choice because I felt like I was truly in to a degree, sort of a beautiful art noir film. I call it a gorgeously haunting masterpiece because now we're sucked into taking away the sensory experience of sound with certain things, and we're just forced to feel. We're forced to watch, engage, perceive our emotions, and just feel what's happening on the screen. So I thought it gave us a different experience as an audience, which I really appreciated.
So you had two big films that came out in 2019. One was Clemency, the other was Brian Banks.
Yeah, Brian Banks.
Another film where, if there's a connection between the two, in both movies you play guys who are kind of victims of unfair systems in ways.
Yeah.
But I'm sensing a lightness in you that's very different from these two heavy guys that you're playing. So what's your goal? What kind of stuff do you want to do going forward that might be a little different?
So the thing that called me to these roles in general was the sense of purpose that was within the roles, within the challenge, within the script. Either that or like people just like putting me behind bars. I don't know. But I start feeling some kind of way. I'm in my feelings. Like, what y'all trying to say, you know? But there was just a sense of purpose, and I love all mediums of entertainment, action, comedy, drama. You know, I used to do stand-up. You know, I love making people laugh and that engagement, but when it comes to whatever it is I do, as long as there is deeply rooted sense of purpose within it that helps me to live out my purpose, then I'm fine.
Well, you did it. Good on you. Aldis Hodge, everybody.
Thank you.
Stay right there.
Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Aldis will be back out in a little bit to join all the other honorees. Next up, another A name, Awkwafina.
Yeah!
Let's watch a scene from her in The Farewell.